Appendix 3 of Truth and Transformation is entitled Change America, Retake Education. And that appendix changed my life the last 8 years in my ministry. Since then, I've spent my time and energy to develop a model, putting legs to, crafting a vehicle for, a delivery system of implementing the vision of church-based college that was first fleshed out by Vachel in Appendix 3. I like to think of here is where the jumbo jet of the third education revelation touches the tarmac. Here's where the nuts and bolts get worked out. This is the delivery system. This is the implementation of the vision. It's a model, a vehicle for the church to take back education from the secular state. The model that was and has been developed is called the Virtues Campus, a name chosen very intentionally. And I want to give you a window into the working model, the Virtues Campus. But before that, I want to say just a word about the name Virtues Campus, because I'm finding the word virtue today is out of fashion. What comes to mind when I say the Virtues Campus, they kind of fumble around and say the virtual campus, or the virtuous campus, or it's even used a negative term, virtual signing. That's the connotation of virtue today. 2 Peter 1:5 says, "For this reason, make every effort to supplement your faith with virtue, and virtue with knowledge." The Virtues Campus communicates our belief, then, that character and moral development need to be integral to education. Truth and virtue need to be integrated into the competencies of skills and knowledge. Virtues speak of eternal norms in a moral world that God has made. They are aspects of moral goodness, like justice and mercy and love and courage and truthfulness and honesty and excellence and generosity and patience, moral norms that are enduringly right for all people in all places at all times. It conveys the conviction that good education is about integrity and not just information. It's about morality and not just mathematics, character and not just a career. In turn, a preponderance of good character among people contributes to a society's well-being. Society is simply better when people act morally and ethically. So at the core of Republican virtue is civic education. So in our relativistic post-truth world, which has left us and our nation only with values clarification, that is with ourselves, the Virtues Campus has been carefully and intentionally named. There are immutable, exceptional, and God-given virtues. It is these that must be recovered in education and preserved. So what then is the Virtues Campus model? In short, it's a partnership between the local church and the Christian university. It is local churches willing to open their doors Monday through Friday to spaces that are underutilized throughout the week all over the nation, and to double up those facilities as college classrooms Monday through Friday. It's Christian universities willing to provide online courses at a discounted rate and to be willing to grant college credit for courses taught on the local church campus. So a Virtues student enrolls first of all in the Virtues Campus at a local church, and then secondly at an accredited university with which we are partnering. On the local campus, they take courses couched in biblical worldview, and they earn college credits by taking those courses from the partner university. 6 to 25 students attend classes Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, or whatever configuration during the week, under trained and qualified academic pastors. At the same time, simultaneously, they're taking online courses from an accredited partner university. In what I call Virtues Campus version 1.0, we are a 2-year program. Students therefore earn an AA or an AS degree, receiving their degree from the partner university. Take a little bit closer look at the 3 main components of the model. First is the local church. The Virtues Campus and the third education revolution is local church centered. The local church is to be the delivery system. It is the church, not the state, that has been baptized by the Spirit of God. If the next generation is going to know God's truth, it must be the church that teaches. The church, which is the pillar and foundation of the truth, must find its voice and speak that truth to the next generation. Even as the third education revolution expands and evolves into areas of healthcare and agri-tech, the church remains the vehicle for healing and for stewarding the land. Michelle is very fond of saying, for 1,000 years, the church has sent students to the university. It's now time for universities to send students to the local church. For centuries, the church shaped education in the West. The natural habitat of education in the West is the church. In both the Middle Ages, that was the case, in the time of the Reformation, but starting in the 1830s in Europe, and especially after World War I, in America, the church gave over control of education to the state. The secularization of education severed reason from divine revelation, and in the absence of divine revelation, modern universities no longer know what is logic, or language, or the difference between right and wrong, or the differences between male and female, marriage or family, the concept of nation, or justice, self and God. And having destroyed the philosophical foundations, they've lost direction and fallen into confusion, ugliness and sorrow. Education has fallen captive to the deceiver of nations. Not just individuals, but the deceiver of nations. Divorced from the wisdom of divine revelation, modern education now denies or de-emphasizes God, truth, beauty, and virtue. So the Virtues Campus empowers the local church to reclaim its teaching authority. It helps local churches to become university centers in their communities. It does so by partnering with Christian universities and schools who have remained true to their original charter. I think the beauty of the model is that small churches as well as large churches can serve as host churches. What is needed is simply a comfortable classroom with tables and chairs, internet access, power cords, projector and screen, TV, sufficient for however many students are attracted to the local church during that year. Needed above all are church leaders that embrace and recognize the church's responsibility to teach its community, that sees education as essential to Jesus' call to disciple the nation by teaching the nation the ways of God. Wanda Newgren, my student and administrative services person, and I run the home office, as it were. We are responsible for identifying churches who are willing and able to become host churches by providing an overall program design that I'm sharing with you right now, by providing curriculum for the weekly in-person classes at the local church campus, by establishing relationship between the local church and the Christian university, by seeking to establish Virtues campuses in thousands and thousands of churches of all denominations across the nation, guiding and supporting the local host church in its identifying of an academic pastor to serve them, once identifying, providing training for all aspects of the work of the academic pastor, and beyond that, ongoing support and training. Some months ago, I was asked to speak to a neighboring pastor group, and I talked to the organizer of it, who had been a former superintendent of schools and had now since become an ordained pastor. And I asked him one question: what will the pastors want to know? Without thinking, he said they'll want to know what it costs. Pastors are pretty concerned about the budget and cost. The entire program that I'm talking about is funded through student tuition. According to a scale we've developed, a host church receives a percentage of the tuition based upon the number of students enrolled. So a percentage goes to the local church to pay the salary of the academic pastor, perhaps an assistant that he or she needs, and some utility costs for the use of the facility. The plumb line is we will open with 6 students. We cap it at 25, so there's a small ratio between the academic pastor and the number of students. Academic pastors are encouraged to target and maintain a campus of some like 15 students. You know, there are many spiritual benefits to the local church in becoming a host church. Hosting a Virtues Campus empowers the local church to reclaim its teaching authority in the community. It strengthens the overall teaching ministry of that particular church. It provides a college-age discipleship ministry that keeps young adults connected at least to the local church for the first 2 years beyond normal high school years. In America today, across all denominations, we're losing 70% of our young people once they leave the local church, once they leave their families. It's probably up to 80%. I hear 70 to 80%. I sat back and said, I just can't allow that to continue. We can't continue to just simply do what we've done in the past and expect there to be a different result. So it provides a purposeful, Christ-centered college education for young adults. Within a 25, 35-mile radius, they drive from their homes, live at home, cut down costs, come to the local church. With classes meeting in the building, discipling the next generation becomes an all-congregational affair. It's not just the academic pastor does the discipling, actually the whole congregation becomes involved. How so? People in the congregation can provide scholarships and say, encourage the young people of their church to go to the Virtues Campus. Christian businessmen in the church can offer their businesses as job shadowing sites. That's a part of our curriculum, getting out in the community, job shadowing. Congregates can serve as tutors. We have churches that are filled with very capable people who can tutor in English and statistics and psychology and helping students get through some difficult times in their curriculum. And church members can also exhibit hospitality. Let's say somebody from way outside the area wants to attend the Virtues Campus. A couple in the congregation who has an empty bedroom can say, come and live with me for a small fee. The whole congregation becomes involved in this discipleship process. I served as an academic pastor for the first 2 years. After 2 years, I turned it over to a colleague of mine, Dr. Julie Markshausen, who was academic pastor for the next 2 years. Then COVID hit and we got stalled. And now we're excited because we have 4 campuses that academic pastors are working hard at as we speak to attract students for opening of campuses this fall. Bob Rhyme is right there. Bob, wave your hand. Bob is the academic pastor at Brave Church in Englewood, Colorado, which is Denver. Bruce Gerson, who is not with us, he is the academic pastor at a church in Colorado Springs. Joe Suazo, Joe, right there. Joe is working hard at starting a campus this fall at Emmanuel Bible Church in Howell, New Jersey. And the 4th is Dr. Jay Falzerano, and he will be with us Friday evening at the international dinner. And he is in Calvary Chapel, Old Bridge, New Jersey. So we have 2 in Colorado and 2 in New Jersey. Be praying for our academic pastors as they work hard now at starting and implementing and birthing new campuses in their church. That's the first component, the local church. The second component is the academic pastor. Let me just say a little bit about the academic pastor. Many questions surround who this person, he or she, might be. What will be their qualifications? What training do they need? What roles will they serve in the education revolution? It's a legitimate question. We have called them, in our context, academic pastors because it defines 2 important aspects of the role. The academic side of academic pastor. Person with some academic training. An AP could be a person with a seminary degree. An AP does not need to be an ordained pastor. Bob is not an ordained pastor. Bob's going to be an academic pastor in Denver. It could be a person with a college or a post-college degree who has a good grasp of biblical knowledge. The AP's academic degree will depend on the partner university, what the university will accept as acceptable educational training. Essentially, the AP becomes an adjunct faculty of the university. That's on the academic side of academic pastor. On the pastoral side of academic pastor, pastor is used here in the biblical sense of one who shepherds. We probably should not get caught up on the word pastor because we think they'll have to be ordained. Pastors have the gift of shepherding. You don't have to be ordained to be a shepherd to shepherd people. The AP is a personal mentor, a coach, a guide. Provides instruction, encouragement, accountability, provides guidance and reassurance at a time when students are coming of age, critical years in their development. The AP is one who disciples, teaches, and thereby shapes young people by the word and by the life that they live in front of their students. They invest in the next generation. An academic pastor can be male or female. So the term academic pastor here in the United States context has been rather carefully chosen to reflect this dual role. In other countries, in other contexts, as Andres was saying, it might look different. There are pastors of local churches in other countries who need, first of all, a high school diploma, and so we're working on that, working them towards an advanced degree of applied theology. We'll be hearing more about that when we come to the time of curriculum development. Or it could be a homeschool mom who has an advanced degree, accompanied by competencies in biblical knowledge and discipleship skills, who becomes a contract employee. The duties and responsibilities, very briefly, of an academic pastor. Central calling is to be a teacher of the truth, a facilitator of the truth. The vision for the academic pastor comes from the Apostle Paul. Paul was not only an evangelist and missionary, also a mentor to young church leaders like Titus and Timothy, called to disciple and train believers in cities around the Mediterranean. And he strongly impressed upon his protégés, I'm a preacher and a teacher of the truth to the Gentiles. The church is the pillar and the foundation of truth, so the academic pastors help the local church become wells of knowledge in their communities. There are other competencies. I'm going to leave those. Chapter 7 is the chapter I wrote there. I delineate more of what an academic pastor needs, and I will leave that for you. Just very briefly, and thirdly, the third component, first the local church, second the academic pastor, thirdly the partner university. We are eager to partner with Christian universities who hold true to their original charter, and we want them to thrive in our day. The partner university gives Virtue students a cost break on the tuition, and also are many. The university can gain thousands of students, online students, partner with us. So win-win financially. They get money for the courses that are being taught. Students win by receiving an affordable college education. We can provide a college education for under $8,000 a year. That's pretty good. After 2 years, because they can work part-time, we've had students that come through the 2 years debt-free. First 2 years of college, then they can take their AA to a 4-year university and work on their BA degree. So local churches can become a marketing arm for the university, especially in the homeschool and church communities. We're working right now with 5 partner universities, 3 of whom we have an MOU with, which is a memorandum of understanding. Let me just mention those 3. Our first university was Waldorf University in Forest City, Iowa. And our students have just received, 2 of our students who went through Virtues now have gone through 2 years at Waldorf, and just this spring they have gotten their BA degree. So we kind of come full circle. On the first 2 years at the Virtues campus, and then they took that to Waldorf University. The second university is Crown College in St. Bonifacius, Minnesota. It looks as though Joe Suazo's students will be partnering with Crown College. I hear you talking about that kind of partnership, Joe. Crown has been very aggressive as a partner university in tuition costs. They give our students $83 a credit. It's pretty good. And then the third is William Jessup University. Bob Rhyme and Jay Falzerano, who will be here Friday night. I hear you talking about your students connecting with William Jessup University, getting their AA degree through them. William Jessup is very aggressive, been a wonderful partner that is being developed. They sought us out. We didn't seek them out. And the president, who was a congregational pastor for 10, 12 years, now has been a university president for about the same time. He sees the local church as a key to educating the next generation in the truths of biblical worldview. Dr. John Jackson is willing to bring a number of Christian universities in a collaborative effort to get behind the third education revolution. Great partner. And so William Jessup University is willing to work with us internationally also in the areas of BA and MA degrees in applied theology. So we're thrilled to be in partnership with William Jessup University. I hope this gives you just a little window into seeing a model that has been developed here in America within the third education revolution. The model I have briefly described provides a working example which I believe can be applied in some variation in different national contexts as well. The relationship between the host church, the academic pastor, and the partner university will vary in different countries and cultural contexts, but I suspect the core elements will be similar. Our greatest challenge is for the church to grab a hold of its calling to educate. But I am sensing to start seeing that there is a change taking place. I think churches are beginning to find their voice. There's a growing awareness that the university system is collapsing spiritually, intellectually, and financially. And right on time, we believe God is bringing forth a revolution in education. That is why we're here in Philadelphia this week, to learn, to pray, to organize, to strategize.